You know, I scheduled this game as a loss regardless. And as long as the Bears look good, I would be encouraged. I would be encouraged. But honestly, I come out of this game more pissed off more than anything, more than encouragement. The only thing I'm actually encouraged is about the damn defense. I guess I might as well get the positives out of the way before I get into my goddamn negatives because I'm sick and tired of this goddamn bullshit already. The Bears defense is fine. The Bears defense legitimately is good. It's a really good to solid defense. The fact that we held the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans in their building to 19 points. We held them to one touchdown, and the remaining points that they got were just off of field goals. The fact that we did that, I view that as a win for the defense. Whenever you can hold that potent offense to 19 points, my God, you would think if any NFL team could do that against this prolific offense against the Houston Texans, you would think that team's going to win the ball game. Well, that is barring the fact that the offense looks god awful, that is. But the defense did their job. You know, they let the Texans kind of go down the field a bit and get a field goal, and then they let the Texans go all the way down and get a touchdown. And mostly the number one play that was killing the defense all game was a stupid slant play to Nico Collins. And it wasn't until like in the third quarter or something, Tyreek Stevenson finally came down and made a play on the ball and broke that stupid stuff up. Plain and simple. I could say they could have got a little bit more pressure on CJ Stroud. They got to him, and when they did get to him, sometimes they didn't hit home on him. Sometimes they did. When they didn't, he would just escape the pocket and throw across his body to a wide open receiver. He only did that like 2 or 3 times in the game. Regardless, we still hit home. We got the sacks. The defense got the goddamn stops. Put an ample enough opportunity for the offense, if it was competent enough, to go out there and do their damn job. But no, 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 no. I'll get into the offense for a second. But the defense was fine. I will say Montez Sweat is still a virtual no-show. I barely hear his name. I barely see him getting pressure, which kind of also goes to show you we actually need a legitimate comp. Listen, I loved Darrell Taylor, but we actually need like a legitimate all-pro caliber player opposite side of Montez Sweat. So then guess what? That only puts more pressure. Interior defense line was fine. Andrew Billings forced a fumble. Again, my Andrew Billings has been a phenomenal. Thank God Poles has paid him. We did force a turnover, a nice, good, critical turnover when it looked like the Texans were driving and basically gonna put the game out of reach and basically score a touchdown, a late touchdown, or maybe get another field goal to really put the game away. But the Bears defense continued to fight on and continue to play hard and give the offense one more chance to be able to go down the field and score. They clearly didn't. And even then, the defense late in the game on a critical time where your head coach already has lost 2 of his timeouts. And I'll talk about Matt Eberflus too, because that's another issue that I have. But they get the stop. While the Texans, this was a puzzling game for the Texans for me. I feel like at some points they just left their foot off the gas pedal and they really just didn't go all out. And they just really like, oh, the offense isn't doing much of anything for the Bears. We can kind of goof off a bit. And guess what? They almost paid for it and lost the game. If the Bears offense was more competent, they would have lost this game. And then one of the most puzzling decisions is the 2-minute warning. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. The 2-minute warning is about to hit. They snap the ball before the 2-minute warning goes off. The Bears at that point in the game, had one timeout. You wait till I don't know why. And the 2-minute warning would just be, and at that point in the game, it was second down, right? Second down. The 2-minute warning is literally clocking down. And for some odd reason, the Texans snapped the ball. I'm watching this as a Bears fan, and I'm like, why are the Texans snapping the ball before the 2 minute warning? Let the 2 minute warning happen. So then it's still second down coming out of the 2 minute warning. And guess what? The Bears have to stop you at the 2 minute warning. It's third down. They call a timeout, or they got to make a decision to call a timeout on the third down or the fourth down, probably the third down. And next thing you know, you can ride as much time off the clock on the fourth down. And by then, guess what? The game doesn't get almost damn near to the wire because the Bears end up getting to midfield. And if the Bears understood, and I'll talk about this in a bit with the Bears and understanding the receivers need to get on the same page when it comes to back shoulder throws. I don't understand. If you want to do a back shoulder throw, you can't tell the receiver to his face, I'm going to do a back shoulder throw. Fake it off as your running thing, and then guess what? I'm going to throw a back shoulder throw. There got to be some sort of check on the sideline where you're just like, hey. Otherwise, tell it in the huddle. What are the hell the Texans going to do? They're not going to listen. You just tell your offensive line, give me enough time. I'm going to throw a black shoulder throw to Rome or DJ. I need you guys to be ready. Got it? Break off your route about 10, 15 yards. Something that you can easily tell in the goddamn huddle. Regardless. The Texans did that, and I'm like, what the heck? And the Bears get the stop on third down. They call the timeout. Boom. That gives the Bears another chance to go. And it looked like they actually probably were going to actually get serious and go down the field after that Rome catch. But no. Gerald Everett drops a pass. I'm absolutely, yeah, regardless. The defense played a solid game. Still some things to work on the defensive side of the ball in terms of certain things, but regardless, I can't be mad if you hold that offense to 19 points. That's a winnable game in my books. If this is only a sign to show, excuse me, a sign to tell that our defense is going to hold teams to around 20-ish points. Listen, man, if we're able to do that, listen, there's no excuse why this team can't be a playoff team. And there's no excuse why this offense can't find a way to turn this shit around. But I'm afraid that won't happen. It probably won't happen for another year or two. Because guess what? We got issues again and issues. Specials are fine. I got in a freaking Twitter debate. I saw Aaron Lemming on Twitter. He's, I guess, a Bears, like, writer or something like that, talking about, oh, well, Tory Taylor isn't pinning people back and everything. He's had 2 back-to-back bad punts in the second half. Man, shut the hell up. At that point in the game, the Bears defense is doing everything to do to get stops. They are getting stops. And I don't care if Tory Taylor is punting the ball bad and not forcing the team into bad field position. I understand you want to force them in bad field position so then when they punt the ball, you're in favorable field position. But regardless, the Bears defense is getting the stops. It's up to the offense to move the goddamn ball and actually get the ball into the red zone to either get a field goal or to score touchdowns. So the fact that I got in a stupid argument with that shows me clearly some Bear fans don't know what they're talking about. We're talking about, 2 Tory Taylor bad punts not pinning people deep. But while in the meantime, I'm watching my TV. The defense is getting stops, but the offense is legitimately doing nothing at this point in the game. And the offensive line looks like a goddamn mess. And we're over here complaining about what Tory Taylor's doing. That's the problem I have with Bear fans. They always need to have the most minute little criticism. Your criticism should be on the offense and the offensive play caller and everything else that is an issue with the offense. Specials were fine. Whatever. Defense was solid. So if I wanted to give a grade, defense played about a B+ area. Specials, B+, same thing. Offense, I'll give him this. They upgraded from an F to a D. Upgraded from an F to a D. I guess in some weird way, that's somewhat progress because this time they actually scored a touchdown. The only problem is, after they scored the touchdown, they did absolutely nothing else. So that's where the D comes in from. So, AKA, they slightly got better. If anything, actually, I'd probably give them a D minus. So they only upgraded one grade point average. I understand we have a rookie quarterback. I understand there's going to be struggles. And that's fine. I fully expected that. But my God, when you add in the combination of offensive line problems, and Lord have mercy, you know, last week I was defending Shane Waldron and said maybe it's just a little bit of an off day. It's clear that the Tennessee Titans defense, their defensive line clearly affected the way the offense was supposed to operate. The offense played slightly better than they did last week, but there's still problems. Obviously, I'm going to get into in a bit the offensive line. The other problem is the goddamn offensive play caller. I didn't want to do this 2 weeks into the season because I just wanted to give people fair chances, but I'm sorry, man. I'm getting sick and tired of the Chicago Bears hiring dudes that just play call atrocious ass football games. Can we get a competent play caller in the goddamn building to where they actually know what they're doing and they're play calling to their weaknesses, strengths on the offense side of the ball? Enough of these stupid screenplays. I'm looking like I'm watching Luke Getsy 2.0 with Shane Waldron right now. There were some play calls that were good play calls. It's just on Caleb Williams not executing certain throws. And it's on the offensive line not being able to block for him. But there was several play calls this game that I'm just like, Ninja, what are we doing? Any shotgun run, I'm done. Just get under center. Your offensive line is already at a weak point. You should see that by now. My offensive line is terrible. What maybe the best thing not to do is be in the shotgun and do a run. Get under center. You may not have Kerry Blasingame. Get a tight end back there. Get Mercedes Lewis. Get some tight end back there. I don't care. Have them be the lead blocker. Do that. Please and thank you. Some of the play calling Shane Waldron had tonight was absolutely puzzling. I did not like that almost every single play he had a stupid H-back, wheel out essentially. Just basically a wheel out to the flats where Caleb Williams just checks it down. At some point in the game, the Texans were literally reading that and coming down on the running back. It was like, that's too easy to cover. I already talked about the shotgun runs. Get under center. Just run the ball. You got any toss plays, any sweep plays, any counter plays? It's either HF and what we typically see, it's usually H-back dive. That's which is essentially right up the middle of the freaking line. And you know your interior offensive line, which you're running straight to behind Coleman Shelton and Nate Davis, is god awful. Okay. Oh, God. So the play calling, absolutely crazy. And I feel like the play calling didn't adjust. Boy, where have I heard that before? That sounds like the last 2 years, especially last year under Luke Getsy. Oh my goodness. The fact that Shane Waldron is doing some of this stupid stuff. Another stupid play call from Shane Waldron. We saw it last week against the Titans. We saw it this week again. We saw a goddamn tight end screen to Gerald Everett. That's my other indictment on Shane Waldron. In the press conference, he talked about not giving Cole Kmet enough reps. No, I'm not. I didn't count every play Cole Kmet was in, and especially every pass play Cole Kmet was in. But it still feels like there are plays designed for Gerald Everett over Cole Kmet. I'm not in the game to play favorites. Also, another thing, I'm seeing Travis Homer legitimately get running back reps this year. Last year, under Getsy, he barely got running back reps. He was just a special teams guy. This year, I'm seeing him getting running back reps. Where's Roschon Johnson? Oh, wait, I see Roschon Johnson. He's getting punched by Al Shazier. Just on the sideline. That's where you saw Roschon Johnson. Where's Roschon Johnson? Is he in the doghouse with Shane Waldron? Where's more Herbert? It seems like they're already out on Herbert. I like DeAndre Swift, but he's getting stuff. Let's try Herbert. No, we can't do that. Let's play Travis. Let's try Travis Homer. Why is Travis Homer and Gerald Everett actually absolutely getting offensive major reps? Why? And again, we call the same exact stupid screen we did last week to a screen to Gerald Everett. Of course, it gets blown up. Why? I'd rather see that screen go to Rome or DJ. Hell, even freaking Carter. I'd rather see those plays to those receivers. Why Gerald Everett specifically? Why Gerald Everett? I'm starting to wonder if Shane Waldron only took this job outside of wanting to coach up Caleb, but also to be able to get other players, which he saw in Travis Homer and Gerald Everett. This is not what I had envisioned. And then basically when the game is almost, when it feels like out of reach to us, now we start going to Cole Kmet. Is he on social media? Is Shane Waldron on social media? Does he have a burner account? And he's seeing Bear fans complaining, where's Cole Kmet? Where's Cole Kmet? And then, now we're throwing plays to Cole Kmet. I don't know why we keep throwing to goddamn Gerald Everett. I don't know why Travis Homer is getting actual running back reps. Why? Stop! Stop the stupid Seattle Seahawks connection. Because right now it's looking like he's playing favorites with those two because he coached them in Seattle. I'm done with this crap, man. I don't have time for coaches to play favorites and play finger touch with these guys and neglect our other guys that have been here. Kyle Herbert, Kyle. My goodness. Herbert has been here. Roschon Johnson has been here. Give them touches. Swift, he's the new sign guy. He has every right to give touches. We did not see Travis Homer get one single handoff last year outside of preseason, to my recollection. He's getting freaking carries. Gerald Everett is getting screenplays thrown to him. And next thing you know, on the last drive of the game, Gerald Everett drops an easy, simple catch and pitch or throw and catch route. And then that's when the entire freaking that's when the entire freaking drive, that final drive, blows up in its face. Because one guy can't catch it. So you throw it at Gerald Everett. Why was that not Cole Kmet? Are you out of favor with Cole Kmet now? No, I have a problem with this now. I have a problem with this. Shane Waldron is getting on my damn nerves now. He's giving his Seattle guys more reps than the guys that have been on the Bears for extended periods of time. Shane Waldron is looking like Luke Getsy 2.0, and that's not a good sign. He's not adjusting to his player strengths or what the defense is giving him. He's going into empty sets, and next you know, the Texans are bringing a fifth freaking blitzer to come in, and Caleb's getting freaking hit. Why are we in empty sets in shotgun? Get a running back there to pick up the blitz. But let's go empty set, guys. Only go empty if it's a quick freaking pass. And the fact that he's failing to adjust with the offensive line deficiencies is absolutely stupid, which leads me to the offensive freaking line. The offensive line, man, was atrocious again. It was bad. It was bad. I tried to play it off saying last week maybe it's just because the front. Maybe they'll play. I think they'll play a little bit better. The offensive line played worse in this game, in my honest opinion, than they did in week one against the goddamn Titans. Holy hell, man. Coleman Shelton, he, we were talking about Sweat blowing him up all the time. Mario Edwards Jr. was blowing him up into the backfield. There was a freaking run play, outside zone run play. Coleman Shelton's supposed to pick up the linebacker in the second level. He completely doesn't even get to the second lineman and whiffs on his block. That same lineman makes the tackle on DeAndre Swift because your center can't run his ass out to the damn linebacker and put a body on him. What are we doing here? I'm done with Coleman Shelton. And it's bad enough Ryan Bates. Well, actually, hold on. I'll get to Nate Davis. Try somebody else, please. Thanks for coming. Come again. I don't give a crap, man. Who? I'll try the freaking center we drafted a few years ago from Illinois. I don't care. Try somebody else other than Coleman Shelton. There's got to be anybody better on what we got available to us than Coleman Shelton. And funny enough, we cut Jatari Carter, who actually could play the center position too. Anybody else other than freaking Coleman Shelton. Stop! I'm done. The offensive line is bad, man. We can't get no run. We can't get no rushing. No running. We're already behind the eighth ball. You're putting your rookie quarterback in a bad situation because you can't even block the run block. Last year's team with that mess of an offensive line at least could run block. They couldn't pass block for shit, but they could at least run block. And yes, some of it had to do with Justin Fields running the ball, but regardless, we still, even when we're handing the ball off to running backs, they still got good amount of yardage. We can't even run the ball without getting stuffed behind the line because these guys can't hold their blocks. I wish my Uncle Daryl was on the video. I think on Tuesday, we're going to have to make a video together talking about this offensive line issue and what a problem this is. But if you watch my NFL week 2 predictions, when we specifically talked about our predictions for this Bears game, my Uncle Daryl, and he's even told me this off camera, basically in our text chat, in our group chat, but he said it also in the NFL week 2 predictions on the channel, that he's completely done with Nate Davis. He is completely done with Nate Davis. Two days ago, when they announced that Ryan Bates is going on IR, I'm like, fucking shit. Excuse my language, but literally, I was like, fucking shit. We're cooked. You thought Nate Davis was bad in this weird rotation he had with freaking Ryan Bates, all right, right? Good Lord. He was worse in this game. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I am I'm absolutely sorry. The fact that this coaching staff is legitimately looking at the film and they're like, well, we ain't got nobody better. Put him back out there. They're not looking at the tape on the sidelines. They're not even going back and on Monday and not looking at the film. I'm done. I'm done with Nate Davis. He needs to be cut. I don't give a shit how bad it's going to affect the cap. Cut him, make him a goddamn example, and prove a point to your offensive line. We may pay you, but if you ain't not doing your damn jobs, we will cut you. We will hold you accountable. I'm done with Nate Davis. He had a terrible game. On that touchdown play, he legitimately trips over his own damn feet. We luckily still get the touchdown. But the fact that he was the pulling guard on that run play and he trips over himself, that tells you all you need to know about I'm done with the Nate Davis experience. His guys getting sacks on Caleb Williams. I'm done. I'm done with Nate Davis. Ryan Poles, along with the coaching staff, need to come to an agreement. What's best for the Bears is we need to release this guy. If I was Ryan Poles right now, I'd call Eberflus into my office. I'm like, listen, I'm going to make the unanimous decision. This may not be a favorable for you, but we need to show to the offensive line that what their play is doing these past 2 weeks is unacceptable. And I'm going to point out one guy, a guy that I signed, Nate Davis. I understand this is going to be above your pay grade, but we're going to release him. We'll eat the dead cap, but this is going to be a way to show an example to everybody in that offensive line room that we need to take the job seriously. And then you also tell Ryan or Matt Eberflus, get the offensive line under control. If your offensive line cannot get under control and cannot be better in the coming weeks, I am firing Chris Morgan on the spot. Nate Davis will be the first example. That's what should happen. He gets cut, not benched, cut. Set that example. You cut somebody, that's going to set the example to the rest of the offensive line. It's going to set the example to Darnell Wright, Coleman Shelton, Tevin Jenkins, and Braxton Jones. And then the guy who has to replace Nate Davis, which would be AKA Matt Pryor. Also, you can say the same for Ryan Bates, who's on IR. And that will show them and set the example. We will not tolerate this stuff. Nate Davis was awful. He's the guy that's basically telling the center, hey, he's going to snap the ball. There's times he does false starts. He's the guy that's telling the center, we're about to snap the ball. This is the count. We snap it on. And he's the one that's getting the false starts. I'm sorry. The Bears are lying to themselves if they and saying they're putting the best men out on the field. If they're trotting out guys like a Coleman Shelton and guys like a fucking Nate Davis. I'm giving Coleman Shelton one more damn week, and then I'm done. Nate Davis, I've been done with since last year. I understand he went through his personal shit with his mother tragically passing away, but at the end of the day, I respect that. Take as much time as you need. And I don't want to sound rude or insensitive, but getting over a family member's death should at least be around 3-4 weeks. Be ready to come back to work. See, if I was in that situation, I'm like, look, go deal with your family situation. I'll give you about 3-4 weeks. Come back. If I see you and you're not playing right, I know that you're not right in the head. I'll let you go home and focus on what you need to go home and focus on. But this year, there's no more excuses. No more excuses. It's already bad he didn't have a good start to the season in training camp for his lackadaisical practice attitude. It's the reason why the Titans got let him walk. Now I see why the Titans let him walk. He's more of a head case than more of a positive. Nate Davis is god awful. Get him off my team. And if the Bears don't, if Ryan Poles is not cutting him or releasing him, they just want to continue to be mediocre at best. The offensive line is a freaking problem, man. The fact that Chris Morgan, I don't. Last year they fired their O line, they fired their wide receivers coach, they fired the OC coach, they fired the running backs coach because of the situation he got involved in. But the one constant they kept was the offensive line. Your offensive line wasn't impressive last year. Why did you keep Chris Morgan? On top of it, they actually gave him a promotion. He doesn't do his job correctly, and the Bears come out in week 3 against the Colts, who, for whatever goddamn reason, did not look good against the damn Green Bay Packers, with Malik Willis starting at the helm. If you look bad, and if DeForest Buckner and Latu, UCLA alum, love my UCLA Bruins, even though they don't look good. If they don't play and the Colts are still getting pressure, fire Chris Morgan. Because he's clearly not coaching these offensive linemen up to do their jobs correctly. He's clearly not doing his job. That's the job of an offensive line coach. He's supposed to make sure that the offensive line is doing their jobs and they know not only their gap responsibilities, they know what assignments they have on a certain blocking play. We saw this last week. There were times we saw this even last year. The fact that the Chicago Bears offensive line cannot pick up a damn easy high school level caliber stupid stunt. Simple. It's the defensive end is first just bull rushing. He then backs up only to then switch with his other defensive lineman who goes to that tackle. The defensive end then runs back and comes around to the interior offensive line. That should be an easy pickup. If you should see that as a tackle, the tackles, even though he's blocking, should be like, hey, we got a stunt. You then pass it off to the next guy. It will alert the next offensive lineman. All right, I expect a player to be coming up to my gap, whether it's my A gap or it's my B gap. You pick, as an offensive lineman, interior offensive line, you pick that up. That blows the stunt up, and that gets no pressure. It gives your quarterback ample time to throw the football. These guys can't even pick up a simple stunt. It's literally the Texans were legitimately just running a simple, basic high school stunt. Something that's not only at the varsity level of high school. We're talking probably you could teach your freshman, sophomore high school football team how to run a stunt. Simple as that. And trust me, I know I coach high school football with the freshmen and the sophomores. And there was a plain or defensive freaking play packages where it's a blitz step package, but we have our defensive end going first and then wrapping around, aka a stunt. And the fact that the Bears offensive line cannot pick that up, it's 2 weeks into the season. This should have been fixed after last week. But no, they can't pick up a damn stunt. Here's how you beat the Bears offensive line. You either blitz them or you just run a basic ass stunt. And you'll get pressure on Caleb. That's what you do. That's how you beat them. Because their offensive line is awful. Chris Morgan's a problem. He should have been fired after last year. They should have purged the entire offensive staff. Why Eberflus didn't do that? No idea. Why Ryan Poles didn't do that? No idea. This is why I said even last year, this isn't just a Justin Fields problem. This is an offensive line issue. This offensive line has been having issues dating back to 2018, the last time we made the playoffs. Legitimately, the offensive line was fine. But really, since 2019 on, we've been having offensive line problems. And again, Ryan Poles just gets these stopgap guys that, for all intents and purposes, they ain't working. There's a reason why they keep getting passed around like a blunt in the NFL because they're not good. They're not good enough. Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham played offensive line. Ryan Poles came from Kansas freaking City. After the Super Bowl, they got blown up by Tampa Bay. What did they immediately do? They addressed the trenches. They rebuilt that offensive line. Everybody on that offensive line right now is literally an all-pro. Even Jawan Taylor, who can give them fits at best. Ian Cunningham came from Philadelphia. He came from freaking Baltimore, too. What do those two teams have in common? Oh, wait, they have an offensive line to keep their quarterback upright. The fact that these two guys at the helm failing to realize that offensive line play is very critical to having your offense be successful, it's absolutely embarrassing on their end. Absolutely embarrassing on their end. And they need to take ownership for not addressing the offensive line and being just blind as a bat to not realize basically we need to fix the center position. We need to fix the interior offensive line situation. It's not good enough. That's why I said set the example to frickin' MFing Nate Davis and cut him loose. That will then get the other offensive line members' buttholes puckered. They're like, whoa, they just cut a guy that was got paid a lot of money. Oh my God. Oh man, I mean, so I might need to play some better. Because trust and believe, you set that example, these players will realize, guess what? You're replaceable. Even if it's a worse option, we'll replace your ass. I'm done with Nate Davis. I'm done with the offensive line coach. I'm absolutely just done with the offensive line as a whole. They can't get no push on the run. They can't give Caleb ample enough time unless it's a quick gameplay to give Caleb a chance to throw the football and hang in the pocket and deliver a ball deep down the field. I'm done. Leaves me to bat Eberflus. His in-game management was absolutely awful. And the fact that he's not willing to hold his players accountable in terms of the offensive line, that's also pissing me off. He's not holding his coach, offensive line coach accountable too. Matt Eberflus had two very, and not just very, two stupid challenges. The first challenge, my God, man. That was one of the dumbest challenges I've seen in my lifetime. He challenges the catch that Stephon Diggs made, that it's clear on the replay. He caught and secured that football. He got 1 foot in and he dragged his toe on the turf. He challenges that to see if that's an incompletion. Of course, the call does not get overturned. The second dumbass challenge. Kyler Gordon almost picks off a CJ Stroud interception. But the thing is, if he didn't have his hand under the ball, it gets jarred loose essentially when he goes to the ground. Incomplete pass. Not interception. I don't know why. I don't know who was in his fucking ear from up top. He threw out the goddamn challenge flag. And of course, you lose the challenge. So in back-to-back halves, the first and the second half, you throw out the challenge flag 2 times for two very stupid challenges. And of course, because of that, you lose timeouts. And then on top of it, at some point later in that game, he calls another timeout, which burns your second timeout, which only left you with the one timeout left. If you had all 3 timeouts on that last drive, You could have gotten the ball back way before the 2-minute warning. I don't know who was up in Eberflus's ears in the box above telling him, hey, Matt, you got to challenge that. Or if this was just his gut decision. If this was his gut decision, is the man not looking at the freaking Jumbotrons at NRG Stadium showing the replay? Is somebody not immediately bringing a tablet to his face by saying, hey, here's the replay? And then him seeing, okay, that's incomplete. Kyler Gordon didn't catch that. Oh, that's a completed catch from Stephon. We're not going to do that. Two very boneheaded, stupid challenges from Matt Eberflus. And this continued, and then also he wasted another timeout in the second half. Take nothing away from his defensive play calling. But I'm really having questions about his head coaching duties. I'm sorry, but I'm getting very close to jumping on the bandwagon, like I said last year, to firing Matt Eberflus. And I said even before we drafted Caleb, we probably should fire Eberflus, so then we bring in an offensive-minded coach to pair with Caleb. That makes the most sense. But if the offense still doesn't look good, they're still blundering decisions, you're going to have to fire Eberflus because guess what? We gave you a second OC and he's still not cutting it. You're gone. Which is the same thing you did with Justin Fields. The same thing you did with Mitch Trubisky. You fire the head coach after you drafted the quarterback the following year. Or the same year you decide to keep a deadbeat head coach. That's on polls for not firing Eberflus and not getting a freaking Ben Johnson or a Bobby Slowick or a Clint Kubiak to be the head coach. I've said it. I think Ben Johnson legitimately is looking at the Chicago Bears job, and he's looking at that. And the reason why he didn't take a head coaching job, I think he sees and I think he knows that man is going to probably lose his job if he doesn't step up. He's going to eye himself, and I just have a feeling Ben Johnson will interview with the Bears, and he would be willing to take the job with the Bears. I just have a sneaking suspicion. If Eberflus gets fired, don't be surprised if Ben Johnson takes an interview with the Bears and he ends up potentially being the Bears head coach. I feel like that's that's his go-to because he's like, they got Caleb, they got a good solid pieces around him, and we can just tune this offensive line around. And knowing an offensive-minded head coach, they're gonna be like, all right, we need to fix the offensive line immediately. If we want to run my plays, offensive line needs to be good. If not, we can't do much of anything. That's just my personal opinion. But Eberflus with two boneheaded decisions shows me he does not know what he's doing out there, and he's still kind of a deer in headlights when it comes to being a head coach and managing a game. The fact he blew those two challenges are his absolute. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Those were blatant plays that stands, and you're challenging them, hoping to get something or grasp for something. And it really feels like to me, those challenge flags were thrown out of desperation. Maybe not the first one, but definitely the second one. It felt like he knew his offense wasn't moving the ball. He just threw the challenge flag because I'm desperate. We need to get the ball in a good field position. Or we need to hopefully get the pick six. Bad in-game management from your head coach. And that's leading me to believe Eberflus is not the guy. I'll say this. He's a damn good defensive coordinator. And I would not be mad if this man was like, you know what? I'll step down. I'll be the I'll be the full-time defensive coordinator. And you just bring in somebody to replace him as the head coach. Now, listen, the only other team that was a head coach of a team that took a downgrade is Vance Joseph with the Denver Broncos. Vance Joseph was the head coach of the Broncos at some point, but guess what? Now Sean Payton's the head coach, and guess what? Vance Joseph is now the defensive coordinator. Legitimately, if the plan is telling Eberflus, listen, we understand you're the head coach. You may not like this decision, but we're going to demote you to DC. We're going to bring somebody else in to be the head coach. Because guess what? At the end of the day, It's looking like Eberflus might not be it for head coach. It's looking like Eberflus might not be it for head coach. And honestly, I would completely approve. That might not Eberflus might not agree, but I'm like, well, it's either that or you're out of a job. I understand he worked his ass off to be a head coach at this point in game, and he probably doesn't want to take a downgrade. But right now, all Eberflus is showing me is this. He's showing me that he's a damn good defensive coordinator. That's what he's showing me. He's got this defense playing good football. As a head coach, no, he's not. He's not good. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you just demote Eberflus to DC and you hire somebody to be your new head coach. Mostly, preferably, an offensive-minded guy. So yeah. Then before I get out of here, Caleb Williams, how do I think he played? I thought he was fine. I'll give him credit. He played better than he did last week. I didn't like his two interceptions. The first one he threw up and it was underthrown. Hard for DJ Moore to make a play on that. Also, I understand maybe DJ Moore is getting a little bit heated. There was times he was looking clearly frustrated. I think DJ Moore just needs to understand. Somebody might need to talk to DJ and just be like, listen, man, we're dealing with a rookie quarterback. I understand you might be unhappy and everything, and things are not going out the way you thought it would be going out, but listen, there's gonna be growing pains. It's okay. You got a new contract. We hope that this gets fixed fast soon. I want DJ to be that encourager guy to go up to Caleb and be like, hey, don't get down. It's all right. We'll work through this. I can't have my veteran number one wide receiver getting discouraged. Keenan Allen didn't play, but he was going up to Caleb Williams, talking with him, making sure like he's good and everything, and telling him to keep his head up and everything. I need DJ Moore to do the same. I love DJ Moore. I do. I can't have him looking upset on the sideline. Seriously. I really do. That's just not a good look. It's not a good look on the morale. And he's a captain. He's a leader on this team. I need him to be the guy that, helps Caleb. I understand Caleb's not playing well to start his season off. And it's not the way that you thought it would be turning out. But just trust the process. Keep your head up. Continue to go. But again, like I said, I don't blame him if he's a little bit upset with the play calling and a bunch of other stuff. Maybe he's also upset because maybe there's a nagging injury he's going through. I don't know. But hopefully he's feeling good. Hopefully he's just, getting his head up and keeping his head up. I understand. I hope players talk to him like, look, man, it ain't a good look for you to look upset. On the TV broadcast, you're not looking too happy, And maybe that's just how DJ Moore looks. If DJ Moore looks like that, that's fine. But I would hope he at least understands, listen, there's a lot of things in place. I understand the offensive line ain't playing good. I understand you're dealing with a rookie quarterback. It's a process, okay? But like I said, Caleb Williams, I thought he was fine. I did think he played better than he did in the Titans game. I will say he got the ball out quicker. He was a little bit more mobile in the pockets to try to evade pressure because the offensive line could not block anybody. His two interceptions were boneheaded interceptions. Well, the second one was more of a boneheaded interception. The first one was kind of just, it is what it is, whatever. I've seen some Bear fans already push this narrative like, say, oh, well, this is what you guys wanted. And they're already doing this Justin Fields stuff. I'm not going to do this shit. I'm not going to do this shit. I know I said months ago, Ryan Poles better be right about the quarterback decision. Now, look, Justin Fields played. Statistic-wise, he didn't look good. But he also got some plays taken away from him due to certain penalties. But regardless, I'm not talking about Justin Fields. I just hope Bear fans don't start this whole thing like, see, we told you. Maybe keeping Justin was a good thing. Maybe we should have kept Justin. But today, the talk should be strictly, yes, you can say Justin Fields might have been a problem for the Bears, but he wasn't just the only problem. The offensive line is a problem too. And that's the number one thing that even the Caleb fans and the Justin Fields haters who are Bear fans need to realize and understand. Because it's like, that was the number one thing they're always talking about. Oh, well, we might get it. Justin Fields made the offensive line play worse because he was holding the ball too long. Well, guess what? Caleb Williams is getting the ball out fast enough, and he's still getting, and the offensive line is still a problem. So this wasn't just a Justin Fields problem. And I feel like that's what Ryan Poles also felt too. And now Ryan Poles is actually realizing, oh shit, this isn't just a Justin Fields problem. This is an offensive line problem because I have a guy that gets the ball out faster than Justin does, and my offensive line still can't hold their blocks for more than 1 second. So I'll say this: Caleb Williams played a little bit better. He didn't really do as much good in the second half. Like every now and then, he still is somewhat inaccurate, missing throws. There was a throw to DeAndre Carter. He just missed. He just missed. That should have been an easy throw and catch. And that was on the first drive of the second half. And he overshot him again. Still inaccurate. Even though DJ Moore caught this one pass, DJ Moore just ran like basically a hitch route, but the ball was thrown low. DJ Moore had to actually get under it and catch it and get back up. And it's like I'm really hoping the accuracy issue is not an issue of Caleb. I'm really hoping that's not a case because that was one of the things coming out of college. He was good. His accuracy is phenomenal. But the fact that again, it seems like we might have a Bears quarterback that has accuracy issues when they didn't have accuracy issues in college is very alarming. Now, could you chalk that up to pressure? Yes, maybe so. But at the end of the day, you're the quarterback. Make the throw, play catch with your receiver. If you can do it in practice, do it in the game. But I thought it was fine. The two interceptions, the second one was kind of terrible. He should have just probably just took it and ran out of bounds because he escaped a sack and then he just kind of threw it up for Cole Kmet. And of course, it was another underthrown ball that got intercepted. And mind you, that was triple team. He would have had to have thrown the most perfect arcing ball to fit it into that area. And I felt like on that, he tried to do too much, tried to do the Caleb USC stuff and try to put the team on his back. Listen, that's when you go bring him over to the side. Look, we don't need you to do that stuff, okay? I understand we're not looking good, but just do what we need to do. Simple. If it looks, just take it and run and get out of bounds. We don't want you throwing a pass or anything. If it wasn't for another holding, um, another penalty, he would have had 3 interceptions today. Um, so that's the thing. Listen, you know, I thought Caleb Williams played a better game this week. There's still some instances where it's shaky in his game, but I feel like he's not getting enough help and it's not making things better for him because, well, number one, his run game is not getting started. The run game is still a problem. And if it can't get fixed, you're making Caleb do too much and you're already putting him behind the 8 ball. Caleb Williams, he had 174 yards with 2 picks, no touchdowns. Roma Dunes, they could have came down with a touchdown, but he didn't. It was a catchable ball. I wish he did come down with it, but he didn't. Roma Dunes, they did play. He looked fine and everything. So yeah, we'll definitely see. But look, I thought Caleb Williams played slightly better than he did last week. He did throw over 93 yards. He got 174 yards passing. So there's a step. Obviously, some of it had to do basically in garbage time where the Texans were somewhat playing off defense and everything. But regardless, um, it's clear that the issues are strictly the offensive line. And really, even with him at the helm, he can't fix those issues. He can't. Like, he just can't. And the Bears need to address the offensive line, and guys just need to be benched. Right? Going to week 3, I'd rather see Matt Pryor than Nate Davis. I'd rather see Matt Pryor than Nate Davis. Enough is enough. Stop playing Nate Davis. Shane Waldron's got to call a better game. I do think Caleb Williams needs to play a little bit better. Trust what he sees, not take as many hits and take as many sacks. Another issue that I had was the refs. You had Shears punch a Bears player, Roshan Johnson on the sideline. The referees don't call shit. Whatever. I'm exhausted. I still got to do my laundry, and I got to get up early tomorrow for work. But the Bears just didn't play a good game yesterday. They didn't execute well enough, and on the offense side of the ball. But regardless, it was still a winnable game. If I do want to look at the positives still, again, it might be an old type of thing to say, but the fact that the defense still held CJ Stroud to 19 points, that offense to 19 points. And again, the offense was just another fucking problem. It just goes to show me that guess what? We just got to fix the offense. The offensive line got to be fixed and it's got to play better. And I'm not saying we were a formidable team, but we're a lot much better of a team. But again, we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears game recap content and stuff like that. Again, maybe on Tuesday, because it is one of my off days of work, maybe I'll get in contact with my uncle Daryl and see if we can have a video talking about this atrocious offensive line and what needs to happen. And also, you could probably get his thoughts on the game as well. So yeah. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Hit that subscribe button. Until then, guys, peace.